So hello and welcome, dear Bayern Munich fans, to today's open to the public part of the final training session ahead of tomorrow's Champions League final against Paris Saint-Germain at the Estádio da Luz, the Estádio do Esporte Lisboa e Benfica in Lisbon, where the Champions League final in 2014 already took place. And now we have another Champions League final just 6 years later under very special circumstances and obviously highly anticipated by all Bayern Munich fans, since your favorite club will be involved. And it's not just being involved, it is very high expectations as well, if you take into account that Bayern Munich so far scored 42 goals this campaign, and we have a look at Robert Lewandowski, who scored 15 goals in this Champions League season so far, making him the most prolific goal scorer, and he is all but certain to win the Golden Boots after this Champions League season. He has 55 goals in all competition after scoring 34 in the Bundesliga. And now he scored in 9 Champions League games on the trot. Robert Lewandowski. Here are other Bayern Munich players like Niklas Süle, who was introduced in the game against Lyon. Or obviously Mr. Roadrunner Alphonso Davies, and to your left it was Lucas Hernandez, the Frenchman who never played in France other than, or unlike his father, I should say, Jean-François Hernandez, who played for Olympique Marseille, and later he moved to Spain to play for Atletico, for which his son started playing at the age of 10 till his move to Bayern Munich in July 2019. So after his ACL tear on October 19th, Niklas Süle seems to be an option again, or maybe even for the starting position. Here's Thiago, the holding midfielder of Bayern Munich, who played great against Chelsea, very dominant against Paris. But now, after Benjamin Pavard appears to be fit, this is definitely a question mark whether Kimmich will stay at right back, will play at the holding midfield role. Same, maybe you could watch or hear or read something about the press conference where Hansi Flick was asked about the right back position, the holding midfield position, in regards to Joshua Kimmich, and the left winger position, whether it'll be Ivan Perisic, whether it will be Philippe Coutinho or Kingsley Coman who will play there. We have to wait and see. For tomorrow, about 1 hour prior to kickoff, we'll get the starting 11, and then we find out what Hans Flick opted for, whether it be the team that he chose in the past 3 games, where he chose an unchanged starting 11, or whether he'll make changes in this Champions League final, for this Champions League final against Paris Saint-Germain. Paris, by the way, lost 1 of their last 32 games in all competition. It's their first Champions League final ever. In the past 7 tries, they only made it to the quarterfinals or exited earlier than that. But Paris is a pretty interesting club, founded 1970, so pretty late, but it's a club of the suburbs, and the suburbs of Paris, they also developed pretty late, so this pretty much went hand in hand. What's very interesting is it's a German coaching duel with Thomas Tuchel and obviously Hansi Flick, the 5th and 6th German coaches in a Champions League final. No other country has that many different coaches in a Champions League final. And there already had been a German coaching duel. I think you remember that well. Bayern Munich fans. It was 2013 when Jupp Heynckes outcoached Jürgen Klopp for Bayern Munich's triple winning season against Borussia Dortmund. So far, 3 German coaches won the Champions League. Hitzfeld and Heynckes twice, and Jürgen Klopp won it last year with Liverpool. So here's Hans Flick, and here's this human part of him that all the players love so much about him. He talks to the players. This might be about the game. We don't know exactly, but the way he talks to them, the way, as you can see, the expression in his face, he's really natural. He's really direct and honest to the players, and that's what the players really appreciate about him, because that's not always the case with all coaches. There are some, and Joshua Kimmich hinted at that one when he was talking about Hans Flick as a coach, that is not only seeing the players as sort of puppets on a string or something like that, or just means of transporting the idea of play to the pitch. You know, Hans Flick always sees the person behind it, always sees the individual, and tries to talk to everyone honestly, but also probably in a pretty different way, the way the player needs to be addressed and needs to be talked to in order to, at the end, make every player happy and make every player understand his decisions as well. Because obviously not always every player can be happy, especially if he wants to be in the starting 11, but there are only 11 spots up there. Very nice camera angle, isn't it? For that little keepy-uppy game here of these 6 Bayern Munich players. Here's Ivan Perisic. Had really good performances. He's on loan from Inter. And, well, rumor had it that he might have a chance to make it permanently at Bayern Munich, but obviously now is not the time to make such decisions. Now all the concentration goes towards that Sunday, 8 o'clock local, 9 o'clock German time, kickoff for the Champions League final here in Lisbon. Bayern Munich won all their games so far this Champions League campaign, while Paris won 8 of their 10 games. They had 1 draw and 1 loss. The loss came in the round of 16 against Borussia Dortmund, when they lost the first leg 1-2, only to win the second leg 2-0. And after defeating Atalanta in the quarters, let's say in a last-second manner, 2-1, they dominated Leipzig in the semis 3-0. And you know about the dominant display of Bayern Munich so far in this Champions League season. They won all games, like I said. They defeated Tottenham in a rather clear manner, I would say. Then they beat Chelsea 7-1 on aggregates, 8-2 against Barcelona in only 90 minutes. They didn't need 2 games to create an 8-2 score. And then the win against Lyon, 3-0. So this team really seems to be on fire, really seems to be in sync. A well-oiled machine, that is. And here's Thomas Müller, arguably one of the most important players of that team. Not only because he's Radio Müller and he's talking all the time, but also because he leads by example. Always running, always creating space, always closing down opponents. It's going to be the 11th final for Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Like Milan, only Real Madrid has 16, so 5 final games more. A little bit of fun from Hans Flick, where he shocked the players by blowing the whistle now in order to start the, let's say, the organized part of practice, because until now it was just a little bit nice of keepy-uppy and nice little bit of play with the ball for all the players who gather now next to the center circle. Hans Flick is gonna address the team a little bit, gonna tell them what it's gonna be all about, the intensity level of this practice session, before he will make Professor Fitness, Professor Dr. Holger Broich, take over with the warm-up routine for the team. Sven Ulreich and Niklas Süle in a bit of a sprint duel, while Robert Lewandowski opted for the sleeveless shirt again. It's actually not sleeveless by design. It's the way he folds the sleeves in. It's a very interesting way he does it, since it seemed to hold for the whole practice session. Or maybe he has that special Robert Lewandowski edition. What a season he's having. Robert Lewandowski extended his contract to 2023. 15 goals, 5 assists this campaign. Very impressive numbers from Bayern Munich's number 9. All players seem to be in really good mood. Robert Lewandowski giving it a try, and I think we heard the nice little swoosh sound when the ball hit the back of the nets here. So the warm-up round is finished. Now it's time to stretch a bit. Beautiful conditions here at Lisbon. Sun is still out. At around 5:36 p.m. local time. And it's also part of that team spirit that Professor Dr. Holger Broich is not just shouting at players and telling them what to do. No, he's actually doing all these exercises as well. He's completing the whole routine, so I think that makes him one of the fittest fitness coaches around, doesn't it? Thomas Müller, who excelled this season, especially in the assisting role, with so far 25 assists in 49 games in all competition, scoring 14 goals, while he scored 4 in the Champions League. And he knows what it's like to play and to score in a Champions League final as well, since he scored 2012 in that infamous final at home. There's been a lot of talk about this learning curve of the past Bayern Munich Champions League winning teams. They all had their huge downs like the Champions League final '99 or the Champions League final at home 2012, which only made it possible for them to win it at the next time of asking. But this time is different, since this team seems to be driven and seems to be focused, even though they have not lost a Champions League final together. Well, a few of them have, but not as a team, let's say. And let's just hope that they don't need to suffer defeat before they actually can enjoy victory. So here is David Alaba putting on this monitoring gear that has just been handed out to him by Sona Mansuroglu, the head of training monitoring. Since there's a GPS device built in this sort of bra, every player will leave lots of data on the computer of Sona Mansuroglu, like, for example, the speed, like the ground covered and all this stuff. That's a pretty neat tool to actually analyze the practice afterwards. Here's the winner of the Lyon game. Especially his first goal was at a really crucial time, and it was such a beauty. Serge Gnabry, 9 goals now. He scored 6 in London and 3 in Lisbon this campaign. We wouldn't mind him scoring another 1 or 2 in Lisbon, wouldn't we? Just look at his cheeky smile there, having fun with David Alaba. And Jerome Boateng as well. Boateng, who had to leave early against Lyon with a muscular problem, seems to be back in full fitness again. Or like Hans Flick said it, well, we're gonna do and perform some tests, and if he passes that test, he's a candidate for the starting 11. Benjamin Pavard said pretty much the same without actually revealing anything about his plans for the starting 11. I think we could have also asked him whether Hermann Gerland would be an option, and he might have said, well, we're going to perform a test, and if he passes this test, we might include him in the squad. And who knows? I mean, Hermann Gerland is still fit, isn't he? So here's a beautiful drone shot from up high over that beautiful stadium, the Estadio da Luz, the Stadium of Light, if you will. Leon Goretzka in the back, Alvaro Odriozola, while we still focus at least a bit on Serge Gnabry. Can see Kingsley Coman there on the back of the left row. Here, he's a former PSG player. He joined PSG aged 8 years in 2004 before leaving 10 years later for Juventus. And he joined only 1 year later Bayern Munich. He was never a regular at PSG, only competed in 4 games for the senior squad, but he's still the youngest player of all time for PSG when he entered the game, 16 years and around 250 days old. Ivan Perisic, scorer of 3 goals in this Champions League campaign. Seems to be very focused now, and now he really understood the way Hans Flick wants his team to play. With lots of willingness to run with the ball, but more important, maybe without the ball. And now what I can tell you, it is a whole different competition, but finally the first round opponent of Bayern Munich in the German Football Federation Cup has been decided. It's Düren from the 5th tier of German football. They're gonna play Bayern Munich, but this, like I said, is just a small news now, since we're all concentrating on tomorrow, so I just wanted to let you know, since this news just broke. Now it's a passing drill to get a bit of feel for the ball and to keep moving. These spider cam shots are really a thing of beauty, aren't they? Since you can really get close, get different angles towards the action on the pitch here, while Manuel Neuer already works out with the goalkeeping coach, or prepares to do so, with Toni Tapalovic for the special goalkeeping treatment for Bayern Munich's number 1. Who's going to compete in his 111th Champions League game, second only to Thomas Müller, and still one game shy of second place, where Philipp Lahm is at 112. There's actually a drone flying around, so it's not really the spider cam, at least back there behind the stands. So let's take a look at Jerome Boateng. Who was also part of that Champions League triple winning Bayern Munich side 2013. Like Thomas Müller, like Javi Martinez, like Manuel Neuer, like David Alaba. Boateng was trying to make that special whistle sound towards his players in order to make them aware that he's behind them. At least that's what it seemed. It's always drills that are focusing on the awareness of players. When receiving the ball, you already have to know where you're going to put it, because if you think about where to put it just right at the moment when you receive the ball, it's too late already. You can see there are 3 players closing you down, so that is really a very intense coaching drill. David Alaba in the last press conference of Oliver Kahn, Bayern Munich's board member, was talking about very positive signs as far as the contract situation of David Alaba is concerned. So we hope for the best, but like I said before, this is not the moment to really think about that, since all the focus has to be on the Champions League final now. David Alaba, who joined Bayern in 2008, aged 16, was loaned out to Hoffenheim. 3 years later, developed there even further, and right about now he's one of the best center halves in the world, isn't he? And he's a world-class left back as well, so lots of options, even though right about now the roadrunner is the left back, making it possible for Hansi Flick to opt for David Alaba as the center back. Blessed with speed, this young man, who was talking about the dream coming true for him, for reaching the Champions League final with a team like Bayern Munich. He was born in a refugee camp in Ghana, son of Liberian parents. Grew up in Canada, where his parents moved when he was 5 years of age. And he's a Canadian international now. Called Fonzie, since Alfonso, without the last O, Alphonse, is a very traditional Bavarian first name. And the abbreviation, or the nickname for Alphonse, is Fonzie. And that's what was easily and very quickly introduced to him. And so he goes by that nickname now. And with nicknames, as it is so often, you don't really have a choice, do you? But could be a lot worse. I think Fonzie is a real nice nickname, so he really shouldn't have any reason to complain about this. Again, this very intense passing and pressing drill with Leon Goretzka here. Scored 1 goal so far this campaign. The player who grew up in Bochum. That's a coal mine city in the western part of Germany. That coal area. He later played 5 years at Schalke before he joined Bayern Munich 2 years ago. And he really seems to be one of the winners out of that Corona break. He really trained, he worked out with his body, added some muscles, and it really helped his playing style. So here's the next routine now. And the next drill, I should say. Kimmich and Serge Gnabry are both born in '95. They both made it through the junior ranks at Stuttgart together before Serge Gnabry went to Arsenal and Joshua Kimmich went to Leipzig. 2 years later, he came back to Stuttgart only to be moved on to Bayern Munich. Later, Joshua Kimmich, and now he is already one of the leaders of the team, isn't he? Always high intensity, but still always smiling faces. That's a really important thing in practice drills like this. You don't want to get your players too eager, too competitive, too aggressive maybe. Especially not on the last session before the most important game of the year. And not only the year, actually the most important since 2013. Isn't it? Since Bayern won the treble under Jupp Heynckes. It's going to be the 36th game for Bayern Munich in our competition under Hansi Flick. He only lost 2, tied 1. His winning percentage, 94%, is the highest of any Bayern coach ever. But he's somebody, he doesn't only look like, he really is like this. He just doesn't care about statistics like this. He just thinks, well, yes, they are nice, but still the next game is always the most important, and it's always the most dangerous and the most difficult. So we have to put all our work into the next game, and that's really what he believes in, and that's really what made him and the team so far so successful. Short little treatment for Jerome Boateng's hip, I think, on the right side. The grass is cut to perfection already here at the Estadio da Luz. And tomorrow we're going to have an Italian referee, by the way, Daniele Orsato, 44 years old. It's going to be his 35th Champions League game. The 4th official is Ovidio Hatejan, who refereed Bayern Munich already this campaign, just recently, while Massimiliano Irrati will be the video assistant referee. So it's sort of an Italian-Romanian co-production tomorrow. Hans Flick is monitoring the practice session closely, since he also said at the press conference that also impressions from the last training session go into the decision which starting 11 to pick, and maybe a goal of the month in that training session will raise the chances for a player to actually make it. Here is the chance with the left foot from Joshua Kimmich. The play the whole width of the field, but only to the halfway line, in order to make it a bit tighter, not as much space as you'll usually have. And here's Kimmich again with the cross, which is blocked. Alvaro Odriozola, usually right back, has to deputize here on left back. Does a good job of getting past Thomas Müller. And here's Serge Gnabry. Coutinho with Corentin Tolisso and Niklas Süle. It's David Alaba against Joshua Zirkzee. Thomas Müller trying to pick out Robert Lewandowski. Getting everyone involved. That's also one of the good things about a little training game like this. Here, Alphonso Davies got a knock from Benjamin Pavard. But he's running off this situation. So that's it with this final training session ahead of tomorrow's Champions League final. I hope you're just as excited as we are towards this game, and we are really looking forward to it. So we'll see you there. Join us then. Thanks for being part of this, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
J'avais cette motivation d'être là avec l'équipe, que ça soit sur le banc ou en tribune. Enfin, après, j'espérais vraiment être dans le groupe.